What's up, everyone? I'm CL Connolly, and today I wanted to talk to you about what I actually do all day long. Since I have basically shortened what I'm writing, so I'm not sitting all day long just writing. I'm actually putting it into chunks every single day to make sure that I get everything done, right? I've got all of this work that I'm doing, but I'm able to put it into these small little chunks during the day. So when I first get up in the morning, I have to take care of my dogs. It's the first thing I do. So of course they get taken care of, they get taken out, they get fed, everything like that. And then I come in here and I gotta make my coffee, because I don't know about you, but I do not function without my coffee. And I do drink hot coffee with a straw, but that's just how I like doing it. Anyway. So after that, depending on what day of the week it is, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I got a different thing that I do every single day. So on Mondays, I generally tend to do a deep clean of my kitchen. Dishes, whatever's left in the sink, got to scrub down all my kitchen counters and everything else, right? So I do a deep clean of my kitchen. That includes sweeping the floors and all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. My biggest thing is I don't like a dirty kitchen, so my kitchen is always clean. I cannot stand that. So every single day I wipe down the counters in my kitchen, but Mondays are like the deep clean. So like I do all the little ledges and my cabinets and everything else. So yeah, I cannot stand a dirty kitchen. So my kitchen is always clean. Now on Tuesdays, I do laundry. And then on Wednesdays, I do the bathrooms. And on Thursdays, I do the bed sheets. And on Fridays, I usually tend to clean up in here a little bit inside my office, but that's because during the week, stuff just ends up everywhere. So I have to make sure that I, organize this so that I have a clean workspace to start again on Monday. And I only work Monday through Friday. I only write things Monday through Friday. But after I deal with whatever I have to do with the house, sweeping the floors, cleaning the kitchen, doing the laundry, all that other stuff. Once I finish doing that, then I come in here, I sit at my computer, and I look at yesterday's notes, right? So I look at what I wrote yesterday and I think I know I've done videos about this before. So inside here, so I will look at what I wrote for the day before on what I had, basically like a summary of what I had written and a sort of like a, where I think the story is going. So that makes it easier on me to be able to, okay, so then I'll start the story. And I'll be able to write that chapter for the day. So it makes it way easier. So then I do that, and sometimes it's anywhere between 35 minutes, depending on how much detail I was able to put in that the day before, to sometimes 3 hours, depending on what is going on outside. So that is one of the biggest things that I try to do, is make sure that I write in that every single day what I wrote and where I feel like the story is going for the next day, right? And that makes it easier on me, because then I'm not having to get burnt out and I'm just like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm doing too much, because I only work for a few hours, for a few minutes, whatever. And then I go out and, hang out with the dogs. That's about it. I mean, sometimes I have to do several things because those dogs are not... Sometimes they like to run around back and forth. And if it's raining outside or there's loud noises like thunder and stuff like that, the bigger dog, she likes to pee on random things. Luckily, it's not the furniture. It's only if for some reason there is a blanket or something on the floor. So we don't have dog beds on the floor. We don't put dog beds on the floor, but that's because if there were a loud noise, the big dog would pee on it. Just because. I mean, she could have just got out. Doesn't matter. She's gonna pee on it because it's on the floor and she's scared. So we don't have dog beds on the floor, but luckily she's very courteous in that way, where she will not throw up or do anything on the furniture. Thank goodness for that. But that's my entire day. I can do whatever I want for the rest of the day. And I make sure that that little piece of time where I'm writing, I'm trying to focus as hard as I can. Sometimes I have to close the blinds. And if I cannot focus, I will close those blinds and shut myself in here to where I cannot see or hear anything, except for, the dogs running around. But that's about it. And it's very difficult for me to be able to focus on anything when those blinds are open, because we have all the wildlife out there, and it is so pretty to watch when the deer run through. So, but that's basically it. That's all I do. Saturdays and Sundays are spent with my husband. So there's that. I always make sure that I make time for my husband so that whenever he comes home, I'm here for him. I don't want to be that person who's sitting here 24/7 at my laptop writing, because that's what we were told back in the day. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. You have to, ass and seat, write, even if you're staring at a blank page. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in staring at a blank page. Okay, so you opened your manuscript and now you're just staring at it. That's not a productive day, which means your brain is not functioning enough to actually focus on this. And I will actually take certain days off. December, I was writing a book in December, and I have a hard time focusing in December. I know I've said this in one of my other videos. I have a hard time focusing in December. So there were times where I was taking extra days off, and because I had so much time scheduled off already, I had those as my extra days so I could just add in whenever I needed to finish that book. Now I got that book finished before the beginning of the year, so that's fine. But there were so many times where I just couldn't focus, and I'm not going to sit here and stare at it. It's not productive to just stare at a blank page. I don't believe that is productive. So that's just how I see it. But my days are basically simple, specifically because I don't sit here all day long, and I don't see the point in doing that. Especially with people who have small children and things like that, they feel like, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do this. And you feel like you're not being productive because, you're having to take care of your kids and you haven't had time to sit down. Your kids take a nap. Your kids go to bed. You can sit down for 20, 30 minutes and just take, that's it. I mean, it's great. So I feel like my 2024 writing schedule is actually working out for me. So especially since last year, from August through December, I actually tried working it in just a little bit, and I managed to write 5 books. So I'm happy with that. I'm actually really, really happy with that. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to know if the schedule would work, and it definitely will. So we're going to keep going. It's only January 22nd, so there really isn't, I can't really say how well it's working. I'm doing the beta reader edits for Mutiny of Disciples. It's coming, so I can get that one published. I'm pretty sure I'll revisit this right around like June, July, and see how I'm doing. But I feel like it's going to actually work out for me, so we're doing pretty good. Just think of it this way. Don't stress out, because if you stress out while you're supposed to be writing, like, oh my God, I haven't been able to write anything today, blah, blah, blah. And if you're going to stress out, then it's going to make you burn out, and then you're not going to want to do it anymore. If it's something that you actually enjoy, figure out a schedule that works for you, and don't listen to advice from, I'm not going to say don't listen to advice from other people, because certain advice is good, but only take the advice that works for you. Don't just be like, oh, it worked for this person, or oh, it worked for this person. I've actually seen someone who wrote one book, got it published, and then she was so discouraged that it didn't sell a whole lot of copies, she thought about quitting. But she loves writing, so she didn't know what else she was going to do. And I actually had to tell her, be like, hey, so way back in the early 2000s, I was actually told that every author has to have at least 10 published books before they get noticed, right? And that's basically because eventually it'll start coming up, because you'll have a large assortment, right? So it'll start coming up, people will start seeing your name. So once you start getting noticed, then it's, it'll start to pick up. So you can't think of it that, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. I know someone who, they're on book 35 and they're finally making a livable wage from their writing. So in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, 20 books. That's where my point is. I need to have 20 books published before I reevaluate exactly what it is I'm doing. Maybe I'm just not writing the right stories. But my thing is, though, is that, my sales have doubled every year, and it's great. I love it. So I haven't had to worry about it every single year since, let's go with 2019. Let's start with 2019. Doesn't matter that I've been published since 2012, because, Yeah, no, those first few books, I didn't know what I was doing, had no idea about marketing. My name was only out there by word of mouth. That was it. 2019 is when I started doing conventions and actually really hardcore posting on social media and using it to my benefit. So every year since 2019, my sales have doubled. Am I making a livable wage yet? No, not by myself. That's where my husband comes in. But I mean, my sales have doubled every year. And if it continues to do that, eventually, yes, I will have a livable wage on my books. And I'm excited for that. But I'm only finishing up with book number 10. And I mean, I have my name out there. People know who I am, yes, because I go to these conventions and stuff like that. And it's great because I love being able to interact with these people too, because then they see me as a real person and not just like, Stephen King's like celebrity style type of thing, right? James Patterson, Mary Higgins Clark, kind of thing. So some people end up in the celebrity status because of their books and stuff like that. But with me, they see me as a normal person because I'm actually interacting with them, especially at Houston Horror Film Fest. You interact with people at Houston Horror Film Fest and at the after parties and stuff like that. They see you as a regular person, so they come over and it's like, hey, I'm going to buy your book because I was talking to you last night at the after party. And it's like, awesome. Thank you. You're an awesome person. And and that's I enjoy that. I'm trying to regain because there was another, not really an after party. Like we were just all hanging out outside because none of us wanted to go to the after party. It was in June. It was June 2022. That was the year that I had back to back because I did the one in Mesquite and then I did Houston Horror Film Fest. Okay, so the one in Mesquite, that one there, I actually was sitting there talking to someone and we were talking about my books and stuff like that because someone that I know, one of the other vendors that I've done a lot of these events with, was sitting there going, oh, well, she writes creepy shit. So I was like, cool, okay. And he's like, what kind of creepy shit you write? So I started telling him about my newest book, at the time, which was Killer Suburbia. And he was like, oh my God. The next day, he actually came over and bought one. So it was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So that was great. And then, a few other of the vendors and stuff like that, especially when they can hear you talking about it, they'll be like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued by this. So you end up getting to that point where, you start to know who the vendors are, and that's a lot of fun. So, but anyway, my biggest thing is the fact that you don't have to sit all day long and just stare. You really don't. Take what advice works for you and do that. It doesn't matter even if it's, whether you're a writer or, anything else. If you've been doing a job, let's say retail. Here's the thing. If you've ever worked in retail or or in the restaurant industry, you'll know that you will get someone who will be training you and then go, oh yeah, we're not supposed to do it like that, but I do it like that. It's because they found something that works for them. I'm just saying. We're not supposed to do it that way, but I do it that way. Of course you do it that way because that's easier for you. So think of it that way. Whenever you take advice from someone, just take it with a grain of salt and do what works for you, even if you have to change it. Anyway, that's it. I was going to do like a full day in the life video and stuff like that, but my husband's off for the rest of January, so he's out there. And I'm not going to walk around with my camera while he's playing video games and shooting people. Whatever. I don't know, zombies or whatever he's playing out there. I have no idea. Because I hear guns. But anyway, that's it. That's all I have for you. And yeah, I post new videos every Monday and Thursday. So make sure you subscribe, like this video, share if you want to. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just here talking to myself at a camera. So, but anyway, that's it. Okay, bye.